talked about how grossly incompetent people were, and just for good measure, ended up calling the press that were there in a hostile environment scum. So there you go. The hypocrisy, Mika, over a misstatement by Joe Biden, which he quickly corrected, is so laughable, because this guy does this every day. And then you turn on Fox News and say, oh, how could anybody do this? I've never seen this before from a president. Despite the fact one of the people saying that yesterday on Fox News stood by while Donald Trump watched violence erupt on January the 6th and kept allowing violence to erupt on January the 6th, and said the people that were beating the hell out of cops were patriots. So yes, Willie, the gaslighting never ends. They really do think that their voters are that stupid. And it makes me sad for those voters that Donald Trump and people on TV, on other channels, really think Americans are that dumb.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Donald Trump has spent the last couple of weeks calling the entire country a garbage can. His words. Yeah. He initiated the garbage talk. And yeah, you're right. I mean, going through that litany of insults that he offered yesterday, the truth is, the audience he's talking to lives in a media ecosystem and a media bubble where that all made sense to them, that it is Kamala Harris and it is Joe Biden who have disdain for the country, who have ruined the country. Donald Trump calls us a third world country. To quote, to paraphrase Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, please stop S-talking America. Why does he put down America at every opportunity and every turn? Because he has to create a parallel fantasy universe where America lies in ruins and he can ride in and save the country. But as you said, the economy is at historic highs. I mean, it's just objectively undeniable that things are going extremely well. Inflation still needs to come down more. We know that. But he has to create a fantasy world, Mika, that does not exist. He's talking about a world and an America that does not exist so that he can be the savior.
Well, let me read. This is from Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal, which has bent over backwards, especially the editorial page, bent over backwards to do everything they can to try to grant a permission structure to voters so they can vote for a guy that is trashing America, that, of course, tried to overthrow the last presidential election. Good luck there. I hope it works for you guys, whatever you're doing. This is the headline in the Wall Street Journal today. The next president inherits a remarkable economy. I've never seen a headline like that. I've never seen a headline. And as we've been saying here every day while Donald Trump's been trashing America, talking about how great America's economy is, how strong America's economy is, Donald Trump goes around trashing it. But I've never seen a headline like that. The next president inherits, quote, a remarkable economy. The envy of the world, we've heard time and time again. And so, yeah, that's what Kamala Harris is riding into this election with at her back. A remarkable economy. I also want to get to a little bit later on, but we have some business to do first, about the fact that it's so interesting over the past couple of days. I've been hearing on the ground in Pennsylvania things, who knows? Sounds like they're going pretty well for the Harris campaign. You won't really hear that from the Harris campaign, but they keep their head down. And right when you start hearing that from reporters, right when you start hearing that from people on the ground, Donald Trump starts talking about Pennsylvania votes being stolen. Is this transparent or what? Now, listen, for parents at home and those with children, also for those who are aspiring producers, I want to give you three bits of wisdom this morning. Number one, this is not from the teleprompter. Let me tell you, friends, I'm reading this straight from my heart. There are three things you don't want to do.
Oh, dear.
If you have a child, okay, don't let them play with knives. That's a bad thing.
Good.
If you have a teenage boy, in the words of the great P.J. O'Rourke, write this down, Willie, and write it, yea, on your heart. Do not hand them at the same time a bottle of whiskey and car keys to the family station wagon. Don't do that. Definitely. Number 3, and I think this is the most important thing. Yeah. If you ever find yourself in a position where you are a sound engineer or a producer of a morning show, do not let Jonathan Lemire talk after a game like last night. So if we could cut Jonathan Lemire's mic and go straight to Willie.
Jonathan?
And Willie, I want Willie. We don't want to hear from. No, it's not going to be good. We'll let Mike, because he's passionate about the game of baseball.
Yeah.
Willie, I've got to say, even I felt your pain last night. And what has to be remembered, not only in Yankees history, but in World Series history, is just a really, really bizarre 5th inning that actually ended. I mean, the final. Well, Aaron Judge drops a ball that any kid in Little League could have caught, and I'm still trying to figure out what he was doing. Here it is.
Yeah,
you just don't miss this. You just don't miss this, and I don't remember seeing a player miss something like that. Kike Hernandez, obviously, very alert to get into second. We don't have to show that 1,000 times. One time would suffice. I will say, okay, stop it. We've got an executive producer that's.
Okay, simmer.
I've got to say, Willie,
simmer.
that was really bad. I've got to say, the one that really just made you think, man, inexplicable, was when Garrett Cole, who was pitching an incredible game, a no-hitter going into the 5th inning, didn't cover first base. Like,
bizarre.
That's something you teach kids when they're 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, this was a slow roller. He assumed Rizzo was going to field it and step on first, but it had a little spin on it. Rizzo stepped back. He didn't cover. Cole didn't cover. But you're right, Joe. The Yankees had everything going. They felt good after the Game 1 win. Judge hits a home run in the first inning. We say, okay, we got Judge back. Here we go. Cole's pitching great. As you said, a no-hitter through 4 innings. And then an inning, the 5th inning, that will live in Yankee infamy forever, changed it all. 3 errors in the inning, including that Judge drop. What happened was Kike Hernandez was off the bag, kind of went halfway a little bit, or not quite halfway, and I think Judge thought, Mike, he could double him off first. So before he squeezed it, he looked to his left to see if he could throw it over to first base, and that kind of opened the floodgates. The Dodgers scored 5 runs. Freddie Freeman, gosh, doing it again. 2-run single. He's the World Series MVP. And it all just came unraveled. The Dodgers went on to win the game 7-6. And I don't want to say they're taking it hard here in New York, Joe, but here's the back page of the New York Post this morning saying simply, end of the world. And we have someone, in fact, we have an eyewitness to this tragedy last night.
Yeah.
John Meacham is here with us.
Yeah.
John, it did feel good for 4 innings, and then suddenly it all left us.
It was amazing. It was really kind of a Greek drama, Willie. It was comedy. It was heading toward victory. It was redemption. And then tragedy struck.
Yes, it did.
And really, I was there with my son, who I like to think got this from the ambient atmosphere in the Meacham household, begins analogizing it to the Titanic. So my work is done.
There's always an analogy.
Yeah.
But it was genuinely gasps when Judge, and then and people thought there'd been we'd gone into a time warp when Cole didn't cover.
Yeah, bizarre.
Yeah, it really is so strange. And Mike, going into this 5th inning, just to let people know how paranoid Red Sox fans always are about the Yankees, I started looking ahead. I was like, okay, wait a second. They're going to win this game. It's 3-2. And suddenly I start thinking, because your boys, the Barnacle boys, have put together this extraordinary documentary. And I really did start thinking in my head, the Yankees are going to get the final laugh. They're going to come back while we're all celebrating what happened 20 years ago. But the way they were playing, and the fact that Aaron Judge at the plate was starting to see the baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually, if he had caught that ball, this is actually a series where Judge had actually, you saw him correct himself over last night and the night before. You're like, okay, Judge is here to play. And with Judge and Stanton playing, these Dodgers, they could have their backs pushed against the wall. I really thought that was going to happen. It looked like it was going to happen. And then just the strangest inning I think I've seen in World Series history.
Well, you know, Joe, I only have so much space in my heart for things like this, but I got to tell you, John, Willie, welcome to the land of if only. That's been my zip code and was my zip code for many, many years until 2004. Last night's game was a tribute to a lot of things. It was a tribute to baseball, first of all, because it was a magnificent season and a magnificent fall season. But the idea of the Yankees losing that way with a one-inning collapse was the epitome of baseball. Mm-hmm. I mean, I almost shut it off when it was 5-0 in the third inning. I almost turned and watched Chicago PD at 10 o'clock. You know,
right here on NBC.
Yeah, to get my mind off of it. Yeah. But I didn't. And while I certainly feel for you, and to a certain level, it brought back a memory of 2003 to me, when you just mentioned your son. I then had a young 10-year-old Tim Barnacle sitting next to me, and his brother Colin and Nick were next to him. And Aaron Boone hit the home run that crushed a whole bunch of people and certainly ended the Red Sox season. And Colin reached over and tugged on my sleeve and looked me in the eye and said, "Dad," we were all standing. He said, "Dad, you better take care of Tim." And I looked down, and I saw 10-year-old Timmy Barnacle, tears as big as hubcaps in his eyes. And the first thing that raced across my mind was, what have I done? I've passed this on to my sons. So I feel for you to a certain extent. But Mookie Betts won the World Series.
All right, I'm putting an end to this.
We're talking about the Yankees' failings, but let's not take anything away from the Dodgers. The better team won the World Series this year. Yeah. Incredible lineup. They pitched great early in the series. They deserve to win. So it hurts, but congratulations to the Dodgers.
That's nice.
That's
nice.
Really cut Jonathan Lemire's
That's nice,
mic
Eddie.
Hey, Jonathan, what did you think of the series?
Why did you?
I'm sorry.
You can do it, John. You can do it.
Oh, his mic is cut. That's a shame. Mika, take us to news.
Okay, so what we're going to do, because you guys have the bed here, is we've got a lot to talk about.
We'll start talking.
We're going to take a 90-second break. We're going to cover Donald Trump in Wisconsin also. Donald Trump says he's the protector of women. He keeps saying this. Sick trope. Yeah. And we have an update on what life is like for women in America under Trump's abortion bans. So we'll kind of spell out exactly what he means by protector in 90 seconds.
I love it.
That's my line. There's no place like Target to shop everything wicked.
Looking for a way to stretch the dollar? With Insurify, you can cut your car insurance bill in half. Getting a deal on car insurance from Insurify is super easy, and all you need is a phone and a finger. Scroll through dozens of prices and tap to switch online. That's it.